What's going on, everyone? Welcome to PMP episode 15. It is Tuesday, October 29th. Today we're going to talk about literally everything for you. Last night was a sports equinox. We get all four major sports on the same day, which is rare, so that's pretty cool. Today we'll get into the World Series, NFL. We'll do college reaction, and we'll do some updates with the NHL, the NBA, a little Premier League for you, and then we'll finish off with where the MLS is right now. So we'll get started with the now 3-0 lead for the LA Dodgers in the World Series. Freddie Freeman, 5 straight World Series games with a home run. And then Friday night was game 1 where he won it in the 10th inning on a walk-off grand slam, which I don't believe has ever been done in the World Series. So that they finished the Mets in 6 games instead of 7. Just rested his ankle. I believe he admitted he was all medicated up to get some feeling or whatever, some numbness in that ankle. He looks great. He's mashing the ball. He predicted the right pitch. If you watch the FS1 post game after game 1, he said he figured the pitch was coming high and in, and he ripped it out for a grand slam. So, Vin, I'll ask you, after 3 games, and save it if you have a little Vinny Vici later for us. But what are your feelings just watching this series unfold?
I mean, as a Yankee fan, it's tough to watch. If you thought they were gonna come into this series and at least be competitive, the first 3 games have been. It's hard to watch from a Yankee standpoint. From a baseball standpoint, it's not. I don't have a horse in the race here, and it's just not interesting to me. I was talking to you earlier about it, and somebody else earlier today, that all 3 Mets series, whether you're a fan or not, if you like baseball, the series were fun. They were high energy. They went the distance for the most part, except for what I mean by that is that nobody got swept, or nobody was in the realm of getting swept. So I don't understand taking Cole out in the first game at 88 pitches. I think Derek Jeter absolutely shredded Boone for that, and I think he was 100% right. It's a domino effect now for the rest of the series, and I think it shows. I think the big elephant in the room, obviously, is Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge has been non-existent in the playoffs. And this really, if this doesn't show you the Yankees are all or nothing, and what I mean by that is it's home run or die. And 99% of their runs are coming off 7th, 8th, 9th inning home runs by Stanton or Soto is the only 2 guys really hitting. Torres is hitting, but man, the rest of that lineup is anemic right now. And I think it's a bullpen game tonight for the Dodgers. I think I saw Honeywell starting for them against Gill. So I'm hoping, just for the sake of baseball, that the Yankees win tonight, and there's a little bit more in the Bronx for the next night. But I don't know. Maybe the Yankees are gonna have to try. Let me rephrase this: the Dodgers are gonna have to try really hard not to win the next 2 games. So, meaning this is over. It's not even going to go close to 7. And it's a shame because, like I said, the Mets series was better than this. And you had touched on it before. You get into certain playoff matchups and situations, and there's better teams that aren't playing right now. So, unfortunately for the Yankees, they're not in that conversation.
Yeah, I'm going to just reply to what you said here. A few things, a little list of things. One is the only argument I heard against leaving Cole in was brought up by Jeff Passan, and he said that Cole's elbow was a mess. That's why he didn't start pitching until the middle of June, I think. So he said he wouldn't. So Passan said he thought that Cole was done just to save that elbow that wasn't healthy all year. It's the only thing I've heard. That's the only fair remark in response to Jeter and Boone taking him out. Yes. Second, Freddie Freeman has 3 home runs this series. The Yankees in total have 3. And Aaron Judge has, I believe, 8 believe it's 8 more swings and misses than anyone else in this series. Could be 10, but I think it's 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So Luis Hill against you said Honeywell.
Yeah.
Hill is 0-0 or 0-0 with a 4.5 ERA. So we'll see. Yeah, just goes to my point, like you, well, to your point too, that the Dodgers are gonna like have to try and lose whatever. And
Yeah.
you could see it when in years past when Judge was out and Stanton's been banged up. I mean, before Soto, their offense was absolutely terrible in those
Yes.
summers where Judge wasn't on the field, and it's the same guys. I mean,
It's all the
yeah,
same.
you have Verdugo now, and that was to my point when we predicted the series, and I kept saying, and I know it's mostly Freddie Freeman right now, and at bat,
Tommy
bet,
Edman too.
and Betts is a good at bats,
Again.
but
Yeah.
the Yankees don't have a Muncy, a Teoscar Hernandez, they don't have an Edman,
Kiki.
they don't have a Kike, they don't have a Will Smith. You have is it, no, I almost said Austin Wells. What's the who's the catcher? What's his first name?
Yeah, it's Austin Wells.
It's Austin Wells. Oh, I'm thinking
Yeah.
Vernon Wells. Sorry, I was thinking Vernon Wells. Oh yeah. So and he's
Vernon Wells is a
watching.
good ball player.
I mean, they're down 2-0. You can't watch a strike at the knees for strike 3 and then stare at the ump like you have some stats in this league, like you're somebody.
Yeah,
So
it's hard.
Yankees got to figure it out.
It's just there's a lot of holes, and you're starting to see them now that they're not playing against some of the lower
The central
tier teams. Yeah, you got a catching situation. I know the kid Wells had a good year. He's up for Rookie of the Year. That's fine and great, but the other kid stinks. What's his? I don't even know his name. I know we have Terrence, who was a Yankee who they gave up on.
Trevino.
You can run. You can steal bases on him.
Thank you.
It's a tough situation. You can say what you want. Everybody wants Soto back, but there's a lot of holes on that team that a lot of other money can solve and make them just as good or better, not all spent on a corner outfielder who can barely play the position, in my opinion.
And I guess to what you said earlier, you said you want the Yankees to win a game or two for baseball. Nah, I'm the opposite. Let's wrap this up. Let's get Soto in the winter meetings with Mr. Cohen, and let's get this bidding war started. Because especially if listen, I know they lost. I know their season's over. I know I'm a Met fan. I know I have no love for the Yankees. But it might say a little something to Soto if they get swept by the same team that the Mets actually, had a little series with.
I agree.
Maybe Soto he won't have to move far. I don't know where he's living right now, but he won't have to move far and he'll make a ton of money.
Yeah, ton of money. But
So
we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. The World Series could end tonight with Cole waiting in the wings. So, all right, with that, let's get on to the next sport.
Let's get into the NFL from this past weekend. We had some good games. We had some bombs, but we'll start off with the Tennessee Titans going into Detroit. Absolutely getting manhandled by the Detroit Lions. Lions win this game at home 52-15. Detroit's good, and no one's going to stop them right now unless something wild happens in that conference. But they keep going like this, letting up. Now, minus Hutchinson, and I'm not saying the Titans are world beaters, but 15 points is without your best defensive player. I mean, what are we talking about here? The Lions' offense is just, Montgomery's throwing touchdowns, running for touchdowns. Solid team, solid coaching. What a turnaround in the last couple of years. Did you watch any of this one? Did you see any Detroit Motown running the offense up the Titans? What?
Yeah, what I saw was the Lions put together a complete game, and it's not like the Titans rolled over and died. What's his name had a day and a half. Calvin Ridley had a day and a half. He had a first half for the ages. So Mason Rudolph was finding him, but every time I looked up, it was a rush for a touchdown. It was a pass for a touchdown. It was, I believe that did they have a punt return? Is there a punt return for a touchdown?
Maybe.
The Lions just I don't. unless the Niners get healthy, unless the Vikings or Packers can somehow figure them out, or if they get into an absolute shootout with like a Tampa or an Atlanta somehow, I don't think the Lions are.
Yeah, I agree.
Assuming there's no more injuries, I don't think the Lions are really scared of anyone in the NFC.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that week in and week out they're showing, the beatdown they put on Dallas. Now this beating they put on the Titans, and it's just not. We're not just winning games and we're beating, like you said, complete game beatdowns.
Yeah,
and that speaks volumes in this league. So, congratulations to Coach of the Lions there, Coach Campbell. Is that his name? Dan
correct.
Campbell, maniac. Love him. Next game, going down to Miami, not the real Miami team, but the Miami Dolphins. They lose 28-27 to the Cardinals. Kyler Murray rallies them, gets them in field goal position, game-winning kick, spoils Tua's return. I don't know what everybody expected in this game. I expected points, just like they kind of put up. I don't know what the over-under was, but I didn't see any of this. I'm assuming that Tua's not as sharp maybe yet as he was prior to, but it's a good win for the Cardinals on the road. It seems like Murray's kind of getting back into it a little bit with being hurt all year last year, getting those guys, a good win. I guess I think he fumbled on the opening drive, but I guess 28 of 38 is not terrible, but didn't come up with the victory here.
Yeah, when Tyreek Hill says strike up the band, you assume that maybe he looked great at practice and the offense was rolling at practice, but that doesn't cover up a bad defense. The Cardinals, Connor, Harrison Jr. and McBride, all their studs, did well, got in the end zone against Miami. So Miami, yeah, good and well, and I hope Tua stays healthy, but if they can't stop a nosebleed, it's over for them, with that terrible start to begin with. So
Tyreek's first game since week 1 with 70 or more yards, which is insanity to me at this point. I mean, can't find anybody to throw him the ball, which is, he's the fastest guy in the world. Next up, we got Cleveland versus Cleveland, but it's really the Baltimore Ravens dressed up as the Baltimore Ravens going into Cleveland, losing 24-29. The Browns, Winston with a bomb at the end of the game. Ravens had a few chances there at the end to they moved the ball down the field. They had no timeouts left, and they were kind of scrambling around at the end. Lamar couldn't really pull it off. They did make a trade today, which I think is going to help them out tremendously. They got Deontay from Carolina, so there's another weapon for him to throw the ball to, which in a game like that at the end there, they're not, Zay Flowers is getting, 3 guys on him, and no touchdowns from Derrick Henry. Is that correct?
I believe so. I believe that's correct.
Which is, yeah, that's not a recipe for a victory. So,
right.
I caught the end of the game because I guess the game was over, so they put this game on before the next one in between. But that's alarming for me. If you're the Ravens, he has to touch the ball. He has to score touchdowns. This is a surprise in my eyes, especially as almost 9-point favorites on the road. Jameis Winston, say what you want about him. He's a career backup for the most part at this point. But he goes out there and performs, and that he did. And it's a good victory for the Browns. Kind of puts that Watson, behind them for this week at least, because they won and they don't have to think about him or look at him with his towel over his head. So congratulations to the Browns on this one.
Derrick Henry had the fourth quarter touchdown. It was a 2-yard run to put them up 24-23.
What did he run for? How many yards? Didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I was just kidding.
No. Because I was watching. He had 73 yards.
Yeah, that's not a Derrick Henry.
He averaged 6.6 a carry.
Yeah, which Cleveland's defense is good. So
yeah, Cleveland defense is good. They obviously move Amari Cooper. They lose Watson. It makes them better. Maybe not the Cooper trade, but it makes them better to have a quarterback who can move the ball.
Yeah.
Opens up the game for Tillman, for Njoku. If you play fantasy, and those guys, if Tillman's available, you got to get him. And if Njoku's laying around, you got to get him too, because Jameis is he might throw you a couple picks, but he can get in the end zone way better than Watson was.
No, absolutely agreed. I think that bomb at the end there solidified. He can still play, and it's the Browns fans probably telling you, "I told you so." But good win in Cleveland. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts going into Houston this weekend. Texans coming up with a victory, 23-20 over the Colts. I actually thought the Texans would put up a couple more points here, meaning they would blow this open a little bit more. I don't think highly of the Colts. I definitely don't think highly of the Colts after AR-15 subbed themselves out, which is this most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't understand that at all. I know that he got replaced by Flacco today, so obviously rubbing a lot of people the wrong way down there. If that is your leader and he is tired, I don't know from exactly what. I guess maybe throwing the ball too many times, or I don't know what the excuse was per se in that conversation from him. But I expected a little bit more out of the Texans here, and obviously a win's a win. We're not downplaying that, but I think more of the conversation here should be around this Colts team and the leadership that does not exist, and your thoughts on them going to Joe Flacco now at this point with how many weeks we got left? Like half the season left almost. I don't know how long he's going to play for, but what is that telling you about what they think of him? Richardson is what I mean by him.
More of the same what we just talked about with Jameis. You could see it with Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh too. You make a change of quarterback, you win the locker room back as a coach, and you open up your offense. Like George Pickens is unlocked now. Josh Downs is unlocked with Flacco in there, and they're not going to have the same numbers with Watson, with Fields, with Richardson. And if Richardson, like you said, I'll echo it. If Richardson, if that's your leader, then he isn't.
Right.
If he's going to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see, and I'll bring it leads me into the next game. Bears at the Commanders with a Hail Mary of a win for the Commanders there. But you don't see, these are two rookies. I've never seen them get tired and tap out of a game and say, "Coach, I gotta take a seat."
I mean, they were wrapping up. I know. Listen, I'm biased. I'm an LSU guy, but they were wrapping up in between drives. They were wrapping the ribs to keep it tight for Jaden. He wasn't healthy.
Yeah, no, not at all. So he's playing through this, comes out victorious on a obviously play that was play of the weekend for the most part, getting the Commanders another victory. Bears defense is good. I mean, that was the kind of scare for me going into the weekend when I was looking at the games. I'm like, if Daniels plays, they have a really good chance of winning. It'll be close. Bears defense is good, but hey, I'm going back to the beginning, week 1 or whatever, week 2, we spoke about the NFL. I said the Commanders are good, and they have a good chance of winning this division. And with a victory with a quarterback that's banged up, so they're showing a lot. They're a real team. I wasn't sold on their head coach because he wears the backwards hat on the sideline, but kudos to the Commanders, man. They're fun to watch. I love Jaden Daniels. He is preseason rookie of the year. I told you he's going to win it. I hope he does win it. I hope they keep winning. I hope they're definitely worlds above the Giants. I mean, you can say what you want about the Cowboys. I think everybody's still waiting for the Cowboys to get off the bus from week 1. But what did you see any of this game? Because I know you love Jaden. I know, and it's nothing. I think you're more than just an LSU guy. I think you understand talent, and he is talent. And I know you like him a lot, as Burrow, and obviously all these great guys are from LSU. But Did you see anything? You just told me more than what I saw about them wrapping them up and keeping them, ready to go.
First drive, I believe it was like 9 plays. They ran 7 of them, so they were clearly protecting him, and they were using Brian Robinson as much as they could. And then as the game went on, I guess he got a little loose. And watching him, at LSU, there's one thing that's a constant with Jaden. When he's in the pocket, is he's going to be accurate deep.
Yeah.
And obviously that took a deflection for the game-winning touchdown, but he threw the ball 65 yards in the air. Like, he's got a cannon. He's accurate. He can run like a deer. I love to see him put a little more muscle on.
He's a little frail,
to not take hits. But no, I mean they are making a statement. That's a good win. I honestly, please stay healthy. If he stays healthy, I think he won Rookie of the Year on that play because he beat Caleb. And Harrison has had some duds. Neighbors is not going to last the whole year because the Giants are killing everyone. Tracy got concussed, I believe. We'll get to them in a second. But before we get to the last game, we're going to really break down. I just want to, because we're talking Commanders. They won. They might have a little problem because the Eagles really laid the hammer down on Cincy, which was surprising. And then I want to get to one more thing before we get into my next point about the NFC East is back to the Lions game. 52 points, no Jameson Williams, which is damn impressive. But
they don't really use him correctly anyway, but that's neither here nor there.
But he's out with the PED suspension. But so the Commanders, that's a statement game. I think it's their division to lose unless this Eagle team figures something out because they look very good against Cincy, even though Cincy didn't have Higgins, but whatever. And then the Commanders, you made fun of the coach, but something to think about when I know you're going to what you do weekly, which I have no problem with, is I know you're going to break down the Cowboys. Cowboys lost their D coordinator and their lead D assistant. They're now in Washington. And Washington's playing great. Their defense gets better every week. And if you keep Jaden healthy, I'd love to see them make one of these trades for Deontay or something because it's really just McLaurin, a Noah Brown, and a McCaffrey, and Ertz, and that's nothing really to write home about. Love to see Washington help the kid out, maybe in the draft coming up. But so Washington, it's their division to lose, even though the Eagles seem to be possibly coming on against a hot Bengal team. And then the last game, I just brought them up, and you brought them up a little earlier. It's your boys at home, and I'll let you break it down against Dallas came to town.
Yeah, Dallas came to play in San Francisco. I'm sorry. I was just looking if the Eagles had played up with the Commanders yet so far this year. So they had 2 against them still to come play.
Yeah.
Okay. So so the Cowboys attempted to come and play the Niners this weekend. Like they always do, they come into San Francisco and lose. I don't. Dak Prescott, 2 picks in this game. I mean, that leadership. The running game is 100 years old in Dallas. They have 1 receiver playing, CeeDee Lamb. Defense is horror if the Niners are putting up 30 points with third world receivers. So, what's going to change in Dallas? What's the answer there? Because I'm a broken record about him every week. This team is embarrassing. America's team is a disaster. Dak Prescott stinks, and he gets paid a lot of money. Just a lot of money, meaning I sent this to my brother the other day because he's a Niner fan too. Prescott gets paid as much money per quarter as Brock Purdy makes in a year. Okay? He makes $882,000 a quarter.
That's crazy.
And Brock makes $985 for the year.
Mr. Irrelevant.
So a good win for the Niners. They needed this. They have a bye week coming up. Word is that McCaffrey is going to participate. They have a extra practice coming up that is not normally scheduled, but they're putting it together. I guess some teams do it on bye weeks and some don't. They're doing it. He's going to be a participant. I'm hoping Jennings comes back. this is a team that needs a Deontay or somebody along that level at this point to help them out on the outside. They needed that before all these guys Ayuk got hurt. But I'm waiting. I need an answer. I need to understand who these Cowboys are.
I have a question for them. We can't hear it, but they'll hear it. The audience will.
I just.
Who are you?
Explain to me. Give me an explanation. Did you watch any of this?
Yeah, I watched most of the first half, and then I put on, I guess, the World Series. But no, like, listen, Dallas is never going to be healthy this year, and the real question is, will Bill Belichick want to work for Jerry Jones?
No.
Bill Parcells did.
Jerry had some sanity, I think, back then.
All right. So yeah, so where they go from here is, I think they're going to underperform with talented players. I won't say a talented roster, because the roster could be much better. Obviously, everyone talks about how they didn't sign Derrick Henry, and they really don't have a number 2 receiver worth a damn. I do like Ferguson. Lamb is very good. That O-line is different, and it's aging.
Yes.
And the defense, if it's not Parsons in there making plays and Diggs, getting 2 picks a game, the defense is really not doing much.
Yeah.
But that's news for Christian McCaffrey for him to get out.
I mean, it would help. It would help. I mean, this kid, the other running back that they have right now, he played a great game the other night. He played better than Mason did. I think it's like Arciendo or something his last name is. So
yeah, I saw him. He looks good.
He's athletic. I mean, they got guys that can play. I mean, but they're just not your household names at this point. Ricky Pearsall had a pretty good game, and Purdy was finding him. He found Kittle in the end zone, which I think was an offensive pass interference that they just decided not to call against the Niners. Some receiver just blew up 2 of their defensive players. But no, coming off the bye week now, coming up, hopefully everybody gets healthy. Hopefully Debo can get over this hospital stay he just had. I feel like he's hurt every other week or some situation, but good win for the Niners. Good. They needed it more than anything right now. So if they can get healthy in this week and hopefully make some sort of move in the next 7 days, let's pray. And hopefully we can be talking about them playing against the Lions again. But we'll see.
They should go get Christian Kirk.
Broke his collarbone. He's out for the year.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I did not see that. Never mind. Don't get Christian Kirk. But yeah, if you're looking for I did not see that. If you're looking for, I haven't seen much of the Jags other than Brian Thomas Jr.
And
talk
Diggs
about
blew me out, so he's out too for the year.
Stephon Diggs?
Out for the year.
Oof, that's gonna hurt Stroud.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, if you're looking for the Niners next week,
he was on a bye week, by the way, playing golf.
I just played the bye week sound. Me and Vin can't hear the sounds today, but we'll fix that.
It's fun.
But I just played Marino. Yeah. So all right. Yeah. I don't know who would be available for trade. Who are you eyeing? Anyone?
I mean,
you want Mike Williams from the Jets?
What is his capabilities at this point?
He's better than Rodgers makes him out to be when he throws him under the bus.
Is Cooper Kupp not available? I mean, not like I said last week, the Rams aren't going to trade him in the division, but is he off the table?
I don't know. They might go on a little run, right? They're healthy. They look good. They beat a very
T.
good
Higgins
team.
available?
That's a good question. Bengals, they win the next 2. They're in a fine spot, but that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who else on Jacksonville could be? I mean, I'm just looking at bad teams.
You don't want their third receiver. You don't want.
So DeForest Buckner was in conversation. For the Niners, a couple more defensive guys than always offensive guys. So I guess they're happy with who they got.
Yeah, I guess if Debo and Kittle are out there, you're fine, and Jennings comes back. All right, next let's get into our Tuesday segment. Sorry, our Tuesday segment on a Tuesday. Though I forgot what day of the week it was. And this is Diaper Dandies. Yeah, so pretty good weeks for some rookies here. I'll break it down for you. We'll go to Jacksonville again. Brian Thomas Jr. 3 receptions for 60 yards and a touchdown. This kid's very good. I know he's probably, he had 2 London games. He's probably not going to be on anything other than a Thursday night game if he hasn't already. But he's very good. Look out for him. If you haven't seen him, he's fun to watch. Marvin Harrison Jr., 6 catches, 111 yards, and a very big touchdown in that Dolphins game for the Cards. Caleb, 10 for 24, 131. Not great. Not what you want to see when he's going up against the other rookie, Jaden, who was 21 of 38, 326 yards. Obviously, the Hail Mary helped, which was his 1 touchdown. But again, he's playing with the ribs. I'll make excuses for him. Playing with the ribs, and he hung tight, and they got the win. And then the 2 Giant rookies who I hope can make it through this year. Dable's going to get them killed, if not sooner than later. Neighbors, 7 catches for 71 yards. And Tracy, who's been the stud, really kind of taking that job over. 20 carries for 145 on the ground and a touchdown. But again, he left. His head hit the ground pretty damn hard. So he left. He's questionable for the next game.
So I tried to watch the Giants a little bit last night because I really don't have any interest in watching the World Series or anything Dodger, Yankee related. I think I saw 10 minutes of the game and about 8 flags.
It was awful. It was ugly. It was all Robert Sala's fault. All the flags.
Yes,
the Giants should fire Sala. Giants should fire.
He's on the Packers now. He's coaching for the Packers already.
Yeah, him on the floor. Did you see that? Did you see that story that came out in 2021 when they were?
It's like a boy band.
They were under Brian Kelly at Central Michigan.
No.
Well, it was just reiterated. Jess Matana on the Lebertard show. She brought it up. She's a Notre Dame grad.
Sorry.
She's cool.
Oof.
LaFleur and Sala were grad assistants under Brian Kelly, and he threw a Christmas party, and they thought they were invited to the party, but they had to shovel snow and park and retrieve cars before and after the party. And apparently they were living together, and they after the party they looked at each other and they agreed that they when they are in that spot that Kelly was in, they'd never treat anyone like that.
Right.
So it's just another Brian Kelly fable. But
I heard another story with Belichick. It wasn't Belichick. It was Coach Saban invited over the assistants when he was on the Browns. I forget what it was, and they had him come over on Easter, and
they had to paint eggs.
No, they had to like dig holes for like new plants and stuff like that. Like it wasn't that they thought they were going for like a nice dinner with the family there, but no, I guess they had other ideas, Coach Saban and his family. Oh boy is right. Oh man. Let's move on to the
speaking of Brian Kelly. Let's get to college.
Oh my God. What a game in the horseshoe this weekend. Nebraska goes into Ohio State.
I told you.
And Ohio State wins 21-17, maintains. I didn't look at their rankings. I'm assuming they're up there, the top 5 still. But if we look at Raiola play against Indiana the week before, and we see him, and I'm not saying he dominated this game, but it was a completely different quarterback. Ohio State, they were I think trailing at one point. Ohio State, if I'm not mistaken. I think they had some panic there. There was some panic in that whole conference this weekend.
There's another loss coming to them. I don't know if it's Penn State or in the first round of the playoff, but Penn State's not long for this title run.
I mean, it's not even on our board, but they barely escaped playing Wisconsin this past weekend.
Yeah, but they pulled that out. I think they won by 2 scores at the end of the day.
Really?
Penn State, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
their quarterback went out, and the backup came in and got the job done.
Ohio State. This was a game I said last week that if they want to come out and keep people believing in them, that they're going to have to put up a lot of points, and they definitely didn't do that this week at home. So you're saying a loss to Penn State or first round? Yeah, I can see it. They're not what they were, I guess. I thought they were better than that.
$20 million. $20 million in the portal, and they're barely beating Nebraska at home.
Is
That's all I'll say.
how much money does Nebraska have into this portal?
I think they
Couple bucks.
paid like 2.5 for Raiola.
Isn't that sick? That's a sick statement that you just made.
Now. It's college now.
That's baseball, Susan. So the Buckeyes escape, be able to win. I'm not sure who's up next for them, but I'm sure it's like some powerhouse of like Bethune-Cookman or somebody.
Youngstown
but
State.
yeah, Youngstown. That might be on the schedule still for the old coach there. Next game up, what a disappointment. An absolute disaster for the Navy midshipmen. Undefeated season's over. The Golden Domers go into Giant Stadium, the only team that wins in Giant Stadium, it seems like.
Is it true? Is that true? So that's
What's
true
that?
that Notre Dame
Throw it at me.
Dame has more touchdowns at Giant Stadium at MetLife than the Giants and Jets combined?
I didn't see that. Do I put it past any situation?
I've heard it from
Absolutely
3
not.
different radio shows, and I don't know if it's true, but it might be true.
Would you think differently?
Well, I know the Giants never get it. I know Daniel Jones never scores at home, and the Jets have been bad. So Notre Dame might have the most touchdowns in MetLife this season.
By the way, Ohio State goes into Happy Valley this weekend, 12 o'clock on Fox.
Is Allard playing?
I don't know yet. I haven't seen
that would
anything
be that would be very Ohio State if they get Penn State's backup quarterback on the road.
Oh, but you said he came out and played well, so.
Yeah, but Wisconsin's not Ohio State.
Navy's quarterback was hurt, I think, and they just kind of threw him out there. I think he fumbled 3 times himself. I think he had a thumb issue on his throwing hand. Notre Dame far superior here in this game, coming up with a lot of points off of the Navy turnovers.
They will be tried for treason when they beat Notre Dame and Army and ruin both of the armed forces' playoff chances.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Next game up, Illinois, number 20 Illinois goes into Eugene. Oregon Ducks 38, Illinois 9. Ducks made a statement here, I think, because I think this Illinois team is pretty good. I think they're defensively, that was their strength. They're pretty good. Couldn't put up any points against the Ducks. Ducks at home, starting to come into their stride here. How do you feel about Dan Lanning and the Ducks?
I hate Dan Lanning, but this is a good win for them. After some scares, after the nail biter against Ohio State, and they escaped Boise State. Let's be honest. And then even week 1 was, I forgot who was that, Wyoming? Was week 1 Wyoming? Where they barely won?
Idaho.
The same. I agree with you. Illinois, good defense, but it's a tough place to travel to. And Oregon did what they needed to do. Now, I think Oregon has a loss coming their way. I don't know when, but they haven't
Michigan
blown
Saturday.
me away. What's up?
They play at Michigan Saturday.
I don't know if that's their loss, but Michigan's defense is
they
good
don't,
enough.
because you got Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Washington.
Maybe the Big Ten championship game they'll get their L, but
maybe.
Yeah, but I don't think Oregon's number 1 in the country. But they got.
So who do you think is number 1 in the country? With that being said, like, who is your top 8 teams? To me, are just all interchangeable. And I'm going to tell you this. Go ahead.
What's up?
No, I'm just going to say Miami's at the bottom of that list, in my opinion, because they haven't played anybody compared to these other guys.
Yeah, but are you going to hold it against Indiana that they're undefeated and killing teams? Can't hold it against Miami either.
No, I'm just. So go ahead.
I don't go crazy with rankings, because what the College Football Playoff Committee does is they look ahead at who's going to play, and they leave room for that. That's why, like, when the CFP came out, when there was only 4 teams, there was always a controversy of whoever was 5th. But the committee knows that games will be played and things will get sorted out. So I don't lose sleep over rankings. But my top 4 would be, I'm putting Georgia, Miami, Ohio State, and Oregon probably in that order.
Okay. Yeah,
how you've looked, who you've played, My money would go on Texas and Georgia against anyone from the Big Ten or ACC too on a neutral field, but I know that's not how it works. But Ohio State, Oregon, they have not impressed me.
Yeah, I just don't think there's that team this year. It's almost like
I think it could be Texas or Georgia if they get their shit together. I didn't know Vandy's like 8-4 all time against Texas, but they haven't played since like World War One.
Let's circle the wagons back into the SEC quick. Alabama plays at home. They shut out Missouri. This. You talk about get your shit together. Alabama's a team that can't figure out. It's like 1 week, and I'm not saying Missouri is great. They're a lot better than they were in years past. They had a good start to the season and had a couple bumps. But to get shut out is wild to me in college football, especially as an SEC school. We're not, that's not, Valparaiso playing. So Alabama puts up a shutout. Same colors, exactly. This is the Alabama team that at home lost. I mean, prior to who's Alabama? Is this the start again of I'm gonna look it up on their schedule who's coming up again. But I mean, it's a good win at home. They're both of these teams are now 6-2. Missouri obviously laid an egg here, but you lost to Vanderbilt and Tennessee at home. And Tennessee wasn't Tennessee when they started the season when they played them. And then you go out and shut out Mizzou. So what do we got? You got LSU coming up on the 9th at home. And then Mercer.
That's in Death Valley. Bama goes on the road.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. At LSU. At home against Mercer. At Oklahoma. and Auburn at home.
That could easily be 4 wins. This was an eliminator game. Missouri is now eliminated, in my opinion. So
we need an eliminated sound or something. We can work on that maybe next time. Yeah. All right.
I got a flush.
That flushed out.
We're flushing Missouri out. Missouri is flushed out of the college football picture.
Flushed out. I mean, SEC's gonna. It's interesting to me. Which brings us to the next game: LSU at A&M. I'm gonna let you talk about this game because you have a lot of horses in this race. I don't. You go into A&M and you lose 38-23. You have thoughts?
Last Thursday I said that Nuss was going to go out, clean things up, look sharp, and late that wasn't the case. Elko at halftime makes the quarterback change, puts in Reed for Wegman, and Brian Kelly admitted in the postgame he didn't even think to prepare for the backup quarterback.
How do you feel about that?
You got to cover all your ground.
How do you feel about that? I mean, make something up.
It was a bad loss. It reminded me of there was a bowl game against Notre Dame where Notre Dame made a quarterback change like the morning of, and LSU never prepared. I know it was a meaningless bowl game, but you want to win. And Notre Dame ran all over it, and a much more talented LSU team than in that bowl game. This reminded me of that, where you just had no answer in the second half, and you just played sloppy, and I don't know, you couldn't. I mean, I joked that the LSU didn't have a run game to begin with, so just throw it, and they did, and they found holes, and Kyron Lacey looks great, and now you have Hilton back, and he's a speed, he's a burner. So I love LSU going forward if they can just tighten it up and be prepared, and this Bama game is going to be fun, but now it's a must-win if you have any hopes for this playoff run. It helps that everyone had a loss in the SEC before you, other than A&M, who's now undefeated in the SEC. But the final score is ugly. The second half was bad. They had no answer for the rushing, the mobile quarterback. And once that stupid crowd gets into it, it just looked like LSU was just trying to get out of there alive. It was bad. But they're not done yet. They're not Missouri. But they got to beat Bama, and I think if they beat Bama, their foot will be on the gas and they'll take care of Like they have Oklahoma rivalry weekend and stuff. I think they'll take care of who they need to take care of if they can beat Bama at home. Obviously, Bama's not perfect. It's not a Saban Bama team, but it is a talented one. Contain Milrow, double Ryan Williams. Pray for the best, but
Yeah, that kid's
LSU.
special.
Yeah, LSU 2 weeks to prepare as always for Bama. So we'll see. It was just a bad loss. My buddy joked. He texted me. He goes, "I'm gonna watch a scary movie to get this." He's like, "I need to feel something after that loss." I agree with him. It was bad. It was just. He's 0-2 there now.
Second half was a different ballgame from the first. I mean, obviously,
It was.
the quarterback change and all that threw them for a loop, especially if you're not prepared for that. Brian Kelly should be fired on the spot for saying that. He stinks.
Did you see what Elko
You know
said?
how I feel about him? No.
And people don't know if it's a direct shot at Brian Kelly. People might assume it's
I hope so.
a shot at Jimbo, but he was on Jimbo's staff, so I don't think this would be a Jimbo shot. But Elko said that they have a real culture at Texas A&M, not like a fake culture with a politician at the helm. So
I just don't know. I don't
could
know
be a
what
shot
Jimbo
at
Fisher
Kelly.
didn't. I don't know what Jimbo did in his life to
Make a
deserve
lot
to
of
pay
money.
the contract at
He won
either
a
Florida State.
title with Jameis.
Jameis won the title. That was one of the best seasons by a quarterback ever in NCAA history.
Yeah.
And Jimbo didn't deserve to go to Texas A&M and get that contract. That's all.
I wanted him when LSU was looking to replace Orgeron. I wanted him because he got guys, man. That Florida State team pumped in pros, man.
Yeah. No, they did.
But they got Kelly out of nowhere. Thank God they didn't get Lincoln Riley, but we'll see what happens.
I would
game
love
versus
Coach O
Bama.
to stay. We need Coach O to come back.
I
love
that's
that
gonna
man.
happen. I think he was a little rambunctious.
I think he's getting paid to stay home right now by them. That's a fact.
Yeah, he said, "Well, show me the door. Which door?"
Yeah, exactly. I'll back my shit up so fast. So last game, second to last game, because you have a very important game not on this list that I'm just gonna go through quickly. Number Texas.
Hey,
goes,
you can always add to the list.
No. I'm gonna add right now when I'm done with this Texas Vanderbilt game. I watched this game because I had the over, which wound up pushing because Vandy came back and pushed at the end of that game. I mean, we talked about it. We talked about Vanderbilt. We talk about them a lot because they went out and they upset Bama, right? They're having a good year for a team and a quarterback that's a no-star quarterback.
A bunch of New Mexico kids, right?
Yeah. It's just my hat's off to Vanderbilt and that coaching staff and that quarterback. They're in every game, whether they're winning and beating teams like Alabama or taking it down to the last, couple of minutes against Texas at home. I mean, this is Texas back to back. I don't know if they were still shell shocked from the Georgia game. I don't know much. I mean, there's some points I look at Texas, I'm like, they're so fast, they're so athletic. They look like old Alabama, Georgia teams. Like that's the speed they have on especially on the defensive side on the first and second levels. But what's going on with Texas? Where do we see them at the end of the season? Are they real? Are they, what are they? Once again, who are they? What do we expect going forward here? Because Texas, to me, is a lot of smoke and mirrors right now. And you can't tell me otherwise because of the ways they played in the last couple of games. I mean, I think the last win was Oklahoma. I'm going to go back and look, but you can't tell me that's a number one team in the country. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Texas is primed to get a playoff win. I think they're as talented as anyone in the country. But yeah, Vanderbilt coached well. They play hard. I don't know. It's like one of those things like the Houston Texans. If they're healthy, they get Nico Collins back. I could see them knocking off anyone in the playoffs. And I would say the same with the Longhorns. I could see them getting matched up with whoever's in the Big Ten, whoever's in the ACC, and I think they could beat them by 10 points on a neutral field. But we'll see. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're coming down to earth. Maybe Georgia, maybe Kirby and Georgia unlocked their holes. I don't know. I don't know of
So
a
let me
major injury.
let
I
me
know
give you
I
the
know the
next four,
receivers were banged up. But
let me give you the next 4 games for Texas. At home against Florida,
win,
at Arkansas,
win, close but
home
win,
against home against Kentucky,
close but win.
at A&M.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I had the same when I saw that at the end there.
It's
I'm like,
interesting.
whoa.
No,
2
yeah,
days
like
after Thanksgiving.
I know
let's
Florida's
feast.
hot. Florida's
I
the
guess,
second
if you
best
wanna
team in
call it
that
that.
state. It's not saying much. UCF sucks, and FSU's an embarrassment. But
FIU?
FIU, they're not winning, and FAU.
No. Oh yeah,
No.
that's right. That's FAU too.
And USF played Bama close for like 2.5 quarters. But
But not really.
no, I think Texas. Yeah, if they don't, I don't know, if they don't bring their game, if they don't bring their A game against A&M and the Kentucky games, they could be in trouble. It could be
Yeah.
what, 4? Would it be 4 losses?
Be embarrassing.
I don't know, but I
It would
don't
be
know.
embarrassing.
I like the 12 game because these games matter a lot, and
Yeah, they
a
mean
game
something.
a game like we said, Missouri versus Bama before Halloween has playoff implications. So I like it. I think 12 teams good. I would not go ever to 14 or 16, but I think it's good for the game. What's this last game? If you say Miami, Florida State, I'm going to vomit. What's this last game you want to talk about?
It's the Hurricanes at home against Florida State.
What? How many wins does Florida State have?
They're 1-7.
All right, I'll let you
Now
take it.
they're 1-7. No, this is just a good win for the Hurricanes against an in-state
Stop.
rival. I'm telling you right now, this is what I wanted to talk about. I'm scared of Duke on Saturday.
Why? Because they hung tight with SMU?
Yeah, and they hung tight the week before that against I forgot. They're
No one
hanging
should
in
be
there.
scared of Duke unless it's March.
Manny Diaz, look, he beats Carolina, right? Which is
Everyone
a good win
beats
for the
Carolina.
Duke Blue Devils. Their quarterback's good. I guess he's a transfer
The
from.
defense doesn't know how to play defense.
I want to say he's a Texas transfer. That kid that they have at Duke. Yeah, I'm nervous a little bit. Nervous because if Cam plays like he did last week,
couldn't get you nervous for Louisville for a month, and then
Yeah,
you
I
saw
know.
how good Louisville was, and now you're scared of Duke.
Yeah, I am just a tad bit because that's Duke. We play Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, and Syracuse. Not world beaters coming up, but this Duke game at 12 o'clock on
I
Saturday.
like
Watch
that
out.
Syracuse team. I know Pittsburgh beat them, but I like
Manhandled them.
Pittsburgh's good, by the way. Pittsburgh's undefeated.
Yes, they are. They are good, and we don't play them or we don't play Clemson. Hence why we're undefeated right now. Honestly, Pitt ruined my season. That undefeated year they had a couple of.
That's
It
right.
was Manny Diaz's second year or something
That's
like
right.
that.
Oh, Manny Diaz
That's
is the
Pitt.
Duke coach?
Yes, that's why this is all making me a little
Oh God.
crazy here. Crazy.
Whatever.
But yeah. Yep. That's what we do.
So that's college. Vin's worried for no friggin' reason.
I hope not.
Where's the game?
So
Is that Duke? No.
at
What
home.
are you crazy?
Do you remember the
so
game
next.
against all the laterals that they put up Miami to beat Duke that one night on Thursday night? Jeez, I'm having flashbacks to that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yep.
I've seen the clip recently, actually. All right, now we didn't prep for this, but it's always on a Tuesday. Do you have a little Vinny Vidi Vici for us before I play the graphic?
I got a problem with Aaron Boone.
Oh, here we go. All right,
got a
let me
problem.
play the graphic.
I got a problem with Aaron Boone. And if you're a Yankee fan, you should have a problem with Aaron Boone too.
All right, the graphic is up and done. Go.
I need an explanation from somebody, aside from what we spoke about earlier about pulling Garrett Cole out at 88 pitches in a World Series game on the road. That is probably the game that sets the tone here for this New York Yankee team in the World Series. Okay, 88 pitches is at what inning? I think it was maybe the 7th inning. They waste 3 guys in that inning, bringing taking him out and wind up obviously losing, throwing Nesta Cortez in the bottom of the whatever inning, 9th or 10th, or I forget what it even got to. Nesta Cortez hasn't pitched since May. Okay? And he stinks. He's awful. You can't give me an explanation that, Jeff Passan said that Cole's elbow is really banged up. If that's the case, then don't participate. Don't play. You can't go out here because this sets the tone now. And Derek Jeter had put it and said it after the game. He was disappointed in what happened in Boone. It's a domino effect for the rest of the series, and it has been a domino effect for the rest of the series because what happened in Game 2? Rodon gets lit up. He stinks. He's the biggest waste of money the Yankees ever made. He is awful.
Jacoby Ellsbury
could be up there with that with that number, but you can't make it. You can't make an excuse. There's no reason to pull your best starter by. I can't tell you how much. There's not a guy on that staff that comes close to Garrett Cole. That is your chance to win. You needed to split in LA and come home with a victory. That was your best chance because Rodon versus who? Who was Game 2? Yamamoto?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, Yamamoto. So you're not going to beat him, okay? Because you can't get out of your own way. The lineup is putrid, okay? So you got to figure something. He trots the same lineup out there too. You can't.
Trot Nixon.
He was a good Met, Trot Nixon. You can't keep making excuses up for this team. It's the same team year in and year out, okay? They had, and everyone had said it, and they had the easiest path to come to the World Series. And here you are now playing against what I didn't think would be because the Mets gave them a run. And I'm not taking away from the Mets, but I actually thought the Yankees would have some life, okay? You parade Fat Joe out there last night, who was terrible. It was an absolute embarrassment. Ice Cube was superior to him when he came out. So back to Boone, sending the same lineup out there. Judge is batting 150 going into last night. Okay, they're walking guys to get to him because he's been so bad. Put him somewhere else in the lineup. Figure something else out. Okay, because this isn't working. This whole thing isn't. Your 7, 8, and 9 looks like the Mets from 5 years ago, where they were automatic outs. And this is the World Series we're talking about here. You can't, these guys, look, hear me out. I understand everybody wants Soto back next year. You have there's a lot bigger issues on this team than right field, than a guy that you're going to overpay for who can barely play right field. You need to go out and get there's a lot of holes on the infield there. Okay, Volpe's not as good. If Volpe was playing in Seattle, nobody would care or know who he was because he's not very good. Okay, I don't even know how he's a Gold Glove finalist. That's another conversation again for another day. But you have all these holes in the lineup, and your lineup that you've paraded out there for 3 straight games is not working. You need to fix something up. And what do you tell me today? What's the lineup? Jazz Chisholm's batting.
Jazz is 4th behind Judge in front of Stanton.
Does that make sense?
No, not to me.
Boone is lucky to have a job this year. He should have been fired probably 2 years ago, in my opinion. I don't know what the relationship is here, why they hold on to this guy, but it's an embarrassment. What's gone on with this series so far is embarrassing. You can say it's Judge not hitting, but there's a lot of guys in that lineup that aren't named Glaber, okay? Because he's the only one who is hitting. Jazz is on base. He stole a couple bags the other night. He made things interesting. But this team needs help. A lot more help than writing a $600 million check to Juan Soto. I can't wrap my brain around it. I just there's pitching needs. You can't tell me Clark Schmidt's a Game 3 starter and a 4 starter or whatever they are right now. 3 last night.
I actually think he's their second best starter.
But you went out and signed Stroman. He was supposed to be in your and Nestor. These guys are in your rotation all year. One's not even on the roster for one series. Cortez comes in and blows the game in the 10th. I said it to you earlier in this year. I've said it to you before this. You went out at the Yankees need pitching. They've always needed pitching, and they haven't gotten anything. And you can't tell me Stroman's the guy and Rodon's good. No, they need somebody to help out Garrett Cole. And yeah, Clark Schmidt, okay, you want to put him out there in the 4th or 5th
I'm not saying he's great, but I'm saying
Walker
right now,
Buehler or whoever, that's fine. You're
Walker-
lucky that if the Dodgers had another starter, this series is over tonight. It's not even a conversation. It might still be over
Oh
tonight.
yeah.
But you're parading. This is what they think of the Yankees. A bullpen game because we can win whatever game we want the next however many. So
Yeah, I
we'll
agree.
start Rick Honeywell's son or whoever's starting tonight. It's such an embarrassment for the organization at this point.
And that was Vinny Vici. Did you hear what Walker Buehler said about pitching in the cold at Citi Field?
He didn't like it.
He loved it.
Oh, he did?
He said he got his breaking ball back in the cold weather, so keep an eye out.
Wow, watch
Keep
out.
an eye out.
Well, when did he pitch? Did he pitch last night?
Yes.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him.
So keep an eye out if the Mets miss out on Burns and Bieber and Roki Sasaki.
They're not gonna. I don't want Bieber because I don't know what we're getting off of a surgery.
Yeah,
I'll take Burns.
I get that.
I'll take Burns. I'll take the relationship he has with Mr. Stearns.
Hopefully, it's a good one because Burns was
I'm
not
hoping.
happy after that arbitration case that he lost in Milwaukee. So, well, we'll see.
Business. It's a business.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. We're just gonna quickly get through 4 things. Vin's gonna tell us what's happening in the world of ice hockey right now.
Man, ice hockey's been exciting. If you're I'm an NHL guy. Don't crucify me for saying this, but I'm more of an NHL guy. Like after the new year, I feel like it's just
Makes sense.
too much going on right now with especially with college basketball starting soon, which is like my first 1B love to college football. But the NHL has been exciting so far. I mean, you got some teams yet. My Jersey Devils, who I have in the playoffs, in the Stanley Cup, they're playing pretty good hockey. And have you been watching a lot of NHL yet so far?
I've been following. I know that. I mean, the Devils have 4 games in hand. Sorry, the Rangers have 4 games in hand over the Rangers, who were my pick to make it. So the Rangers will catch and pass the Devils if they stay healthy. But no, the Devils they're improved. Everyone thought they were improved. They had a good off season. So I'm following from afar. I'm more of an NBA guy.
Yeah,
but
even the NBA doesn't get really rolling until in my opinion.
Once the Winter Classic hits, then I kind of come out of the shadows on the NHL, to be honest, too. But,
and I think once
I
mean, I was peaking on the Islanders Florida game, and I know we have them ahead of the Atlantic Division right now. Islanders up 3-0 in that game.
Yeah.
And then they get absolutely destroyed 6-3.
Yeah.
That's a game to me for the Islanders, and I know we're going to kind of sound stupid here by saying I'm going to sound stupid, but there's a game early on in the season here that you kind of need to have.
No, it's funny. The Islanders are under Trotz. They were probably the most disciplined, arguably the best coach team in the league.
Yeah.
Never had a defensive hole, but couldn't score. Then Lambert, who replaced Trotz, opens it up. They play that Hurricanes playoff series, and I was watching defensemen that I watched against Tampa never make a mistake, and they were turning the puck over. It looked awful against that Hurricanes team in the playoff series, and now we have Wah, and Wah's he's like the combo. You have the offense with him. You have more sound defensively. I think he's going to do wonders for Sorokin if he hasn't already, and so it's like a combo of the two, but you see them putting the pucks in a lot more. Horvat, he's a good player. Duclair is out for a long-term injury.
That's a killer.
That hurts. They brought Matt Martin back, but
I know, but
they're on their way. If they can keep Wah and they need youth, they need size, they need speed, they need skill, and they'll be fine. If they can just acquire and stop trading your first round pick, Lou, and just acquire talent. And no more little grinders. It's time to catch up with the Avalanches, the Lightnings, and the Oilers of the world.
And what do you think about the Winnipeg Jets here in this season
Winnipeg
so far?
Jets ahead of the Central Division with 16 points, arguably the best team in hockey, right now. They just got their first loss of the season last night because John Tavares had a hat trick.
Who's John Tavares from the National Indoor Lacrosse League?
Yeah, that was his uncle, right?
Yeah, that's his uncle.
He was the former Islander captain, future Hall of Famer,
Pajama boy,
and former Maple Leafs captain too. They took the C from him, which is weird, but whatever.
They did.
Yeah,
That's
they gave it to Matthews. It's weird. They took the hometown C off the hometown kid, obviously. So yeah, Vin mentioned it. Atlantic Division, Florida's ahead of 15 points. They know how to win. I don't know if a repeat's in their future because it's hard to play that. Like we said in our preview, it's hard to play that style of hockey for, one season, let alone 3.
Yeah.
Vin mentioned the Devils ahead of the Metro Division, 14 points. Central Division's Winnipeg with 16, and the always fun Pacific Division, Vegas with 13 points. Keep an eye out on LA. It should be fun. I know the Sharks are terrible and the Ducks are rebuilding, but it's always fun out west.
What about the Canucks?
Canucks only have 1 loss. Yeah, they're a little behind in points though because I don't think they've played the same amount of games.
Yeah.
And then my pick Dallas. They're hanging around. They're doing what they need to do. I know McDavid just got banged up for the Oilers. I'm not sure the extent, but we'll see. We just wanted to update you on hockey because I know we can get a little football heavy here, but we're watching, and just
football
to prove
season.
to prove we're watching the NBA. There are 3 undefeateds left after last night. The Lakers lost to the Suns. 4-0, we have the Cavs, the Celtics, and 3-0, we have the Thunder. And 2 of those teams are in my finals. So we'll see. Cleveland's good, well coached, good bigs, and Donovan Mitchell's going to score. He's a poor man's Tatum. So, I mean, I say poor man's Tatum, but they're kind of close. But I think Tatum's more complete.
Bigger too.
Yeah, he is bigger, but
can probably play a little bit more though.
Yeah, it's worth watching. I know Steph just got banged up. John Morant missed last game, I believe.
I forgot he was in the league, honestly.
Ja?
Yes.
Yeah, the Bulls just beat Memphis somehow. So yeah, we're keeping an eye out. I know the Knicks took care of the Pacers, and then my boy, my Magic, who I predicted on a deep run to face Boston in the Eastern Finals. The Magic, Paolo Banchero had 50 points last night, so 37 at half, I think, which is crazy. So the Magic are off to a hot start as well. So
Italian, by the way.
Paolo Banchero. Oh yeah, Team Italy got pissed when he said he wasn't going to play for them, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but just we're keeping an eye on everything. And now EPL, a huge game for Arsenal, Liverpool, 2-2 draw. Salah pulled one back late for the equalizer, which was
Robert
brutal.
Salah's playing EPL.
Robert Salah got fired.
It's probably his fault.
That was an EPL. It's his fault. It was always his fault.
Everything's his fault.
Yeah. So Ulbrich, and I have nothing against Ulbrich, but you're gonna spend three timeouts in the first quarter?
What was that?
On a scoring drive? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Salah.
I don't think
Salah.
He's not Dan Campbell. Let's put it that way.
So the EPL, just to wrap that up, the top 4 currently are Man City with 23 points, Liverpool right behind them with 22, then Arsenal in third with the better goal differential than Aston Villa, they both have 18 points, third and fourth. And then lastly, and then we'll get you guys out of here. And before we do that, just want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, follow, whatever you got to do. We're on Apple Podcast. We're on Spotify. This is obviously our YouTube video channel. Please get it out there. We're trying to do more fun things. Oh, we're on TikTok. Find us on Instagram. We've been posting on TikTok. We've been doing some stuff there, and it's fun, and we want to keep doing this. So let's build our little following and source with you guys. So can't thank you enough for those loyal listeners and viewers. And then the last thing, the MLS. Now, I am not dialed in, but I will share this. MLS playoffs. Vin knows the favorites out in Vegas. I'll show you the bracket.
Yeah, we have the bracket favorite is Inter Milan
Into
at
Miami.
plus 150.
Into Miami.
I'm sorry. What is it? Is it
I
to
think
get
it's
like
just
the?
MLS. I think it's MLS trying to relate to teams you already have known. So like
Because, like, I said,
Real
I said,
Salt Lake should be Real
I know,
Salt
but that's
Lake.
right. But like, aren't we talking like that's like? Wouldn't you just think it's like Real Madrid? Like should they have their own like?
I think they'd be relevant to the world.
I know.
Yeah, Cincinnati beat NYCFC. So 1-0 lead. Orlando has a 1-0 lead. Miami beat Atlanta, who was a wild card team. They have a 1-0 lead. Messi and the boys should probably lift the trophy because Messi's still tonight. We're following. We couldn't tell you much about MLS. I'm not gonna lie to you, but we know Miami's stacked, or has been called them Inter Milan. But that's the point. The reason you said that, that's the point. That's what they tried to do. So.
Yeah, but I'm thinking Inter Milan, like red and black on the attack. Is that Milan? I don't even know who's who.
Yeah, AC Milan is the red and black.
AC Milan. There you go. Who's Inter? What are they?
Inter is blue and black.
Blue and black. Okay.
And then Juve is the white and black.
Black and white. Yeah, gotcha. Stripes, right? Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that's our Tuesday episode. We're gonna come to you tomorrow because I got to jump on a flight Thursday for a wedding down in Baton Rouge, right outside Baton Rouge. So again, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, follow, do whatever you got to do. Find us however you want to find us: Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. All right. So have a good rest of your Tuesday. We'll come back to you tomorrow. Vin, say goodbye to the beautiful people.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much.